In a recent video, I received a question from one of you. Would you say you are 95% Nike? Majority, I've noticed you were reviewing mostly Nike brand. So essentially asking, is my sneaker collection 95% Nike? And it absolutely positively is not. Now, if you're basing it only on recent unboxings, then I could see maybe how you lean that way. But also keep in mind, I have almost 2,500 videos loaded on this channel. All of them certainly not unboxings, but certainly not 95% Nike. I think people underestimate how much New Balance I own, but then also how many Adidas pairs I own. So this was a fun little exercise for myself to just run down how many sneakers, just in terms of the percentage. We're not going to go through count right now, but we will go through percentage because they listed a percentage in the question itself. Now, just for context, I'm not adding in any sneakers that are likely being given away or I've already set aside to sell or again donate. So I'm not even going to count those because once I've set them aside, they're pretty much like not anything that I'm thinking of in rotation or my collection. As you guys know, I'm continuing to pare down. So again, this is something that may be fun for you to do for yourself if you're curious, like, how much of my collection is like one specific thing, because you may be surprised how it skews just in terms of the percents, right? And this may surprise some of you because there are pairs where I may receive them. It doesn't mean that I always end up, like, let's say doing a video on them. And it's not always because, oh, I don't know if people are going to view it, right? No, because I'm not only buying shoes or necessarily one, I was gifted this shoe, but so it's not always only showing what you think will get views, but sometimes you do need to weigh, are people technically going to be interested in it? So you have to keep that in mind. And if you're looking at the channel and you say, oh, well, you've only reviewed Nike recently, there's always that I bought for myself, I was also gifted, right? So those are, I mean, two different realities. So in terms of buying, yeah, I have bought a lot of comfortable sneakers recently, right? The Nike P6000. Granted, I was also gifted the Makeway P6000 for Christmas in 2024. You have both Vomero 5s, which I purchased, and the rest of 2024 was heavily Adidas, although I barely purchased any sneakers in that time period anyway in 2024. And then I just recently had 3 different shoes in terms of Adidas technically on the channel with the Eric Shake James, Adidas, the Crazy Infinity, and the Twilight Pack, and then also the Friends and Family pair. And yeah, so there's a mix of things on the channel here. But you know what? Let me just go ahead and run down the percents. This video will be short and sweet. And then you can also possibly run down yours. All right, so let's just take a look at what we have here. So if you're thinking of Nike, Nike is actually 29% of my collection. If we're just talking percentages, Nike is 29%. If we go to Jordan Brand, that sits at 24%. If we go to Adidas, that as well sits at 24%. So that's probably what a lot of people wouldn't anticipate or wouldn't assume. But yeah, like Nike or Adidas and Jordan are neck and neck in my collection. And I've sold off a lot of Jordan pairs. Like if you guys follow me on Instagram at all, or I posted how what pairs I've been letting go in this ongoing series. Yeah, I've let go of quite a few Jordan pairs. New Balance sits at 12%. I could see that possibly going up in the future, maybe, but yeah, they sit right now at 12%. Vans sits at 3%. And then Under Armour is also at 3%. Reebok is at 1%. And then I have 5 other brands technically that are all below 1%, so they would add up to 1. So for those, we have Converse, we have Diadora, Stray, On Running, and Puma. So that's how it all breaks down for the percentages of sneakers in my collection. So which one stood out to you the most as a surprise? Did you think that it would be that balanced in terms of, the bigger brands of Nike, Jordan, and Adidas? Now, yes, could we nitpick and say, well, Jordan Brand is under the umbrella of Nike? Of course we could, but you guys certainly don't see it that way. And so we're going to continue to look at it differently. Whenever I speak on things about Nike and Jordan, I usually do tend to separate them, also because Nike and what they need to do in terms of getting back to where they were, it's not going to be this sole focus on Jordan Brand and their consumers and what they want solely for themselves, which, as I've stated in a recent video, it can't just be about you getting more collabs that you want. Like, it just can't. Like, they are leaning more into sport. I love that for them. I hope they continue to do that. And those are good changes, I think, that are being made. Good changes, and we definitely have a juxtaposition to, like, not good changes in other areas, right? And I'm just saying, like, I did a recent video, a rundown on, the fact that there is now buy now, pay later for DoorDash. And listen, it makes me shake my head, but I also shake my head at people when it comes to doing buy now, pay later, or pay in for sneakers, because it's just a dangerous road to go down. And I also posed a few questions like, hey, what if you had to wait until the very end of that payment schedule to get that shoe? Would you still care about it? Something tells me that people would not. But you can go ahead and comment your thoughts on that in that video, and also maybe the percentage breakdown for your collection. Again, did it surprise you when you did the math? Anyway, thank you so much for tuning in. March Madness it's mad, it really is. So I'm not sure when this will drop and what's been going on in the scheduling, but just know that these kids are stressing us out. These kids are stressing us out. Dawn's daycare, always stressing me out. Paige, 40-piece Paige, I guess is what we need to call her, because it was her game in the Sweet 16. Sis said, ain't shit sweet, okay? And not what she said, just what I'm saying in relation to her game. So I'm excited for Elite 8, Final 4. Nerves are all over the place. And I had South Carolina and UConn meeting at the championship, okay? Which means either way I win, because I'm a massive Paige fan, which means I win if UConn wins. I'm a massive Dawn and Dawn's daycare fan, which means I win also. So no, you know what? I walk away with something. I'm leaving here with something, okay? But with all that being said, act your age, not your shoe size. Peace.